the channel that knows nothing. I'm Jem, and let's get to it. So today we're diving on into the childhood book tag. It is gonna be great. A lot of nostalgia and core memories here today. So let's go. So the first question here today is the first book that you remember reading by yourself, and I've got to say it's probably a picture book because I don't really remember anything prior to that. It was probably not a chapter book. If it was a chapter book, it was probably read to me. So it's probably a picture book, and it's probably like one of those classic ones like Hooper Humperdinck or The Best Nest or Snug House Bug House, because they are very cute books. And probably Go Dogs Go. That was probably a personal favorite of mine. Number 2 in this tag is the first book that you remember your parents reading to you, and it was Narnia. That is my go-to. That's why I love it so much. It's a core memory, guys. Yeah, I remember being read most of the Narnia books to me, specifically The Boy and His Horse, because that was like the strangest one. Tisroc, may he live forever. That's the one I remember because we were low-key going to get a dog and call him Tisroc because of that phrase. Number 3 in this tag is a book that you read because of your parents or because of a friend, and I actually never finished it. I definitely did start it a lot of times, but it was The Billionaire's Curse, and I feel like I should probably go back and read it. I probably still have it somewhere. Number 4 in this tag is a favorite book from school, and we read it when I was in year 5, so I would have been around, I think maybe 11 or 12, because I was a little bit older than my whole year group. Number 4 in this tag is a favorite book from school, and I actually really liked when it was read to me in year 5, The Tuck Shop Kid and The Toilet Kid. I think they may be by Australian authors, but I will check that. And I feel like I should probably go back and read them at some point because they're all about body image and like going through different kind of difficulties, as you can probably tell from the titles of each of the books. The Tuck Shop Kid was the first one, and The Toilet Kid was the sequel to that. I thought they were really good and dealt with like different kind of body image issues really well from memory. Number 5 in this tag is your favorite book from elementary school, and I've got to say it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's the reason why I love reading so much, because as a kid I didn't really like reading. I'm dyslexic. I deal with that like every single day. I hate words, but I love them at the same time. So it's a very love-hate line sometimes, and that is the book that spiraled me into becoming this obsessed person nowadays. Number 6 is what is your favorite book from middle school, and it's probably got to be Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, and City of Bones. Those were the books that I was like heavily reading back then. I really loved City of Bones, especially like in the beginning. I really loved those first 4 books that Cassandra Clare wrote. I was a fiend back in the days, and also those were the books that my friends were reading around the same time as well, so heavily influenced by them as well. Number 7 in this tag is your favorite book from high school, and that's probably literally anything by Shakespeare. I was like devouring his plays because I was a little bit obsessed with them, mainly because it was just, I felt like the language in it was so poetic, and I ended up writing something. I think it's called Shakespeare in the Garden because I wanted to replicate it, and it's like these two people having a conversation in kind of like Shakespeare inspired language. I feel like I should probably read this at some point. And then it was also Looking for Alaska by John Green. It's my only John Green book that I actually like. All the rest of John Green's stuff I don't like so much. I'm pretty sure it's on the bottom shelf over there, because it is bottom shelf material. Now I look back on that book and I'm like, why did I like that? That was shocking. Number 8 in this tag is a book that you gave up on as a kid, and that was Eragon. I was really into dragons, still am. And I just basically gave up on it because I think I got through the first few pages and I was like, I'm not actually sure what's going on, so I'm gonna put this down. I feel like it's something that I should probably pick up now because people talk about it and I'm like, oh, this sounds like very intriguing. Also, the movie doesn't do it justice, I'm told, so maybe that's something I should read. The next question in this tag, which is question number 9, is what is the book that you checked out most from the library? And I've got to go, it's probably the Percy Jackson books because I didn't own them, and this was also kind of my next pivotal book that I read that kind of, I don't want to say changed my life, but made me feel like I wasn't an idiot, because like Percy Jackson deals with dyslexia and ADHD, and I just felt like he was the most relatable character to me that I'd ever read, that I was just like, wow, because I dealt with a lot of like things from the teachers about being an idiot, which was amazing for my self-esteem, as you can tell. So it was nice to read about a character that they were not weaknesses and they were strengths, and that's why I love the Percy Jackson books so much, and I admire Rick Riordan for writing them, because his son also had dyslexia and ADHD, which is why he wrote them. So yes, it's got to be Percy Jackson without a doubt. I love that series. I love what is going to become of it. I'm very excited for the TV show. I am going to cry if I keep talking about it. But yeah, it's a very special book to me. I cannot fault it. I love it so much. Number 10 in this tag is books that you made your friends read, and it's meant to be a book that you made your friends read, but I have several options for this. So the ones that when people ask me if I should recommend books to them, it is always Of Fire and Stars, If I Tell You, and The Flywheel, because they are all female relationships, and also they are the things that I love the most. They are fantasy, contemporary, and gay. That's all I have to say. Number 11 in this tag is the book that made you love reading, and I have already mentioned it, but I shall go on about it more. But it is obviously the Percy Jackson series, and if we want to get down into the nitty-gritty of it, it is probably the second one, The Sea of Monsters. That is just awesome. I love a sea adventure. And yeah, I've already gone on about why I love it so much, so I feel like I shouldn't go on, but I love it, guys. That's all I can say. Number 12 in this tag is your favorite middle grade read, and I'm gonna pick Nevermore for this one. There's a lot of things to like about it, because it is not too tropey. You look at the cover, that's not the I have the non-character cover. I have the nicer cover that looks a bit more adult. Anyway, it's not too tropey, it's nice. People like phrased it as, oh, this is going to be the new Harry Potter, this is the new Alice in Wonderland. I didn't like it, and I didn't pick it up for that reason, because I'm just like, well, I don't really like you comparing it to something that already exists, because when you read it, it's not really like something that already exists. It's a brand new story. It's very interesting. The characters are very, like, they're just different to what you have read before, and it's a nice little adventure with some twists and turns, and it's interesting to say the least about it, because I don't want to spoil too much, because I think you should go out and pick it up for yourself, because it is very cute and it's different, because, you know, Harry Potter is a book of its age, and I feel like this is just, it's so much different. Don't compare it to Harry Potter or any of the books that already exist. It's like when people say that Percy Jackson is like Harry Potter. Absolutely no, it is not. Harry Potter does not have sword fights and cool sea adventures. Like, no. Stop comparing books. Like, no, don't do it. Number 13 in this tag is your favorite young adult read, and currently it is only mostly Devastated and also a little bit Perfect on Paper, because I feel like the characters are so grounded in their world. And I also feel like they make decisions that normal people would make, even though you think they're stupid, especially when it comes to the main character of Perfect on Paper. And then I also really like the balance of high school and then normal life within only mostly Devastated, because I feel like it's quite accurate to how like life actually is. It's not just all about high school. When you read books like that, it feels very like school centric, where it's just like this is all that matters, where it's just like not so much like that in only mostly Devastated. Anyway, I like them. They're grounded. I like the characters in them. I think they are you know, they make decisions that normal people would make, although you are questioning them as the reader. And I just liked it. They feel real. Like real, these are real people. Like, because this is believable and it could actually happen. Question number 14 in this tag is a long one, so I'm going to hold up my piece of paper and away because I'm old. First long series you read as a kid. How did you learn to read and how old were you? I do not remember how old I was when I learned to read, and I'm pretty sure my parents taught me how to read. It wasn't something that I just went off and did on my own, because I don't think anyone does that unless they are a genius, and if so, how? The first long series I read that I can remember is probably Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I think I got 5 books into it before I was like, I really do not like this main character. He is so annoying. I don't like any of the characters within this anymore, and I yeeted it off to the side. And then it was close to the time I feel like I found Percy Jackson and my friend told me about City of Bones. Or it feels like that in my mind, although maybe it was a much bigger gap in which I didn't do any reading because I hated it. Question number 15 in this tag, which is also the last question in this childhood book tag. It's been very nostalgic. Anyway, the last question in this tag was, how obsessed were you with school book fairs? I was very obsessed. Got that piece of paper, marked down all the stuff I wanted, and then my mum said, no, you can have 1 or 2 things. I loved it. It was like, oh my god, new books are here, must have, must take, must like grab this and then just retreat. But that's like me with bookshops as well. But now I have more self-control. Normally I'll pick up a book being like, yes, and then I'll add it to my mound of books and like, am I actually going to read this? No, put that back and run away. Now it's a bit more reasonable. Back then it wasn't, and I was hectic. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, because that is always nice, and I will see you next time for more bookish fun. Goodbye!